I'm Mark Haskett, and I'm a general contractor. I build things for a living. I build the buildings like you're sitting in right now. I build things like your house at home. I renovate, I make changes, I build from the ground up. I do all kinds of different things like that. I'm a gas fitter. I do plumbing. I make sure that your toilet works and the lights go on when you go in there. I make sure everything runs properly, it's built to today's building code, and I make sure that it operates on budget and comes in on time. Currently, I'm working on building medical centers. So I have a relationship with a number of doctors who are in the field of community medicine, and I build community medical centers. I'm currently building one in Simcoe. We have one in Brantford that I completed last year, one in St. Catharines that I completed last year. We decommissioned one, so we took one apart in St. Catharines as well and replaced it with a bigger office. Most of the medical centers that I build cater to 5 or 6 doctors at a time, a staff of half a dozen in the receiving area, and they have a pharmacy as well. We build from the ground up in some instances, and in some areas we buy an existing building and we renovate it into our best use. We serve Brantford, St. Catharines, London, Hamilton, Oswego, Dunnville, and a number of other communities are kind of on the way. In terms of what I do and what I'm qualified for, I do commercial plumbing, which is a little different than residential plumbing. I'm also able, obviously, to do residential plumbing as well. And I do plumbing from what's underneath the ground, out to the road, up inside your home, inside the walls, under the walls, around, and all the way through up to the roof. I'm also a gas fitter, which means that I'm certified to work with Union Gas and Enbridge Gas to bring natural gas lines into your home for furnaces and for stoves, restaurants, large special equipment, water heaters, that sort of thing. I'm also a welder, and I do structural welding, and I do TIG and MIG welding as well. And through what we do, structural welding is different. That's where all the great big iron goes into your home or into the building that we're working on. I do MIG welding, which is where if we're making shelves or things like that, they go together in a slightly different way. And I do TIG welding as well, which is if you've got a restaurant and a ventilation hood and it needs to be completely welded, all of its seams, I do that as well. And this is my $800 Miller welding helmet. And I'll show you some more special equipment that I got right after this. Some of the special equipment that I use are arc welders and MIG welders. This right here is a stick arc welder. If you're doing large structural projects and you need that weld to dig right in, you use a stick welder to do large structural work. It's not very pretty. If you need pretty and you don't just like me, you can use the MIG welder. The MIG welder over here comes with a canister of gas. The canister of gas shields your weld. It gives you a beautiful, fine, delicate weld, and it gives beautiful sort of finish to things. We use both of these along with our angle grinder to get stuff ready to go, finished welding, and ready for the engineer to inspect. And every time I make a weld in the structural area, I have to have it inspected by an engineer who comes in, looks at my work, and tells me my job's done. Let's go downstairs and see what I do in my spare time. Down in my own wood shop, we've got the laser pointer equipped 10-inch radial arm saw. This is a really, really cool compound miter saw that lets me cut angles, it lets me cut miters, it lets me make things like furniture to make them fit together. Straight on, full out cuts as well are really easy to do. It has a tape measure built in here, the angle guide right here, and watch this. All my fingers left too. Hanging up here, we've got a lot of accessories that we use once in a while. Most of these are used for furniture. You'll see this right here is actually a framing square. We use this to make sure that our angles are perfectly square. And in here, we use these guides for rafters. So if we're making that pitched roof, we can get the pitch exactly right by lining up our cuts here and here. It makes for roof rafters every time easily. I've got extra saws up here for my compound miter saw. This is for making cable TV splices. So when I'm building your house and you want to make sure the TV or the internet works, we want to have this right here. Staple gun comes in handy for insulation. Compound miter holder, this holds your square properly when you glue your joint together. I've got extra large grippers that come out and go to ever larger sizes. I can hold 2 pieces of wood together this big across a clamp and let it sit overnight. All the cool tools in here make the job easier and make it possible for you to make fine furniture and do great finish work and trim work inside your house. Now, every contractor and every homeowner has an area that's kind of sort of like this. And this is where a lot of things just kind of go, from drywall tools to plumbing tools, tape measures, electrical boxes. I've got all kinds of stuff in stock here, and yes, I'm so busy with the projects that I'm involved in that sometimes the mess gets a little bit ahead of me. Now, some of the things that we do aren't really exciting to get involved with. And hey, if your daughters happen to be involved in slime gang, guess what? A big component of slime is Elmer's glue. And guess what Elmer's glue is terrible to do with? It's putting it down the drain. Look down here at the drainage in my house. When I had slime girls here in my house, I had to rent a rooter to get rid of all the glue that they put down my drain. It was amazing. It's where the toilet flushes down, and we had to open it up, and we had to send this great big cable down because my daughters keep bugging me to buy them slime. And you know what? I still do. Now I'm going to tell you that as a building contractor, you'll find me wearing construction boots, hard hat, you'll find me wearing safety vests, and all of the latest safety equipment that I need to keep myself safe. I'm certified to work at heights. I have a harness that I wear with a cable on the back that keeps me from falling. I do that for roofing. I do that for working at heights inside of all the buildings. But you know, the thing that you have to understand is that not everybody is going to be a lawyer. Not everybody is going to do a desk job and things like that. And the trades, they're cleaning right out. There are very, very few tradesmen out there, very few people who know how to work with their hands and to build things. And one of the reasons that this is a great career to be in and a great area of work to be in is I do something different almost every day. I solve problems for people who can't solve them themselves. And a good plumber in today's market can make over $80,000 a year. A good gas fitter can make over $60,000 a year. That's more than enough to buy a home in this community and live a great, great life. If you were thinking about how this stacks up to other trades, let's say you're a nurse at Norfolk General. You're probably going to make about as much money as a plumber. If you are an architect, you're probably going to make as much money as a general contractor. If you are a CEO of a corporation, let me tell you, if you're a general contractor, you are a CEO of a corporation. You have buildings to design, you have finances to look after, you have your own bookkeeping that you have to do marketing, you have to do consultation, you have to understand how the building code works. This is a really, really cool, in-depth career. You are just as smart as all the other CEOs out there, but you work with your hands, you solve problems. It's a great career to look into. It's a great way to earn a great living, and you get time to be with your family because you're your own boss and you can schedule your own work. It's a really cool thing to do. I'd like to thank you for listening to our presentation today, and I'd like to remind you that I'm Mark Haskett, the plumber, the gas fitter, the carpenter, the drywall guy, the general contractor, the problem solver, and hey, I'm a boomer.